Hello, I'm Dara and welcome to my beef farm. We're just in the crush today. I have a few jobs I want to do with a group of bullocks. I don't have Dad mic'd up today. He told me to just get on with it. He'll be in the background as usual. So we'll just get out here and we'll look at these cattle and we'll talk you through them. These cattle here are dairy beef bullocks. They're last year's calves. I have them up in the yard now. I'm going to weigh them and I'm going to dose them. There's a bit of coughing going on there. I'm going to give them a dose then for stomach worms. I'll just give them a white drench down the throat. That'll cover all those stomach worms, lung worms and fluke and things like that. I'm going to weigh them and then they're going to a little bit of aftergrass that I have for them. They're a mixture of Limousin, Aberdeen Angus and Hereford. They're all bullocks, although there's one or two in it there now that have notions about themselves. Maybe I missed a stone in them there when I was castrating them there, but they'll be nice cattle now hopefully in October time. They're probably next February's cattle for finishing. I'm not going to rush them too much now. They're probably a little bit backward compared to maybe other years in that they were the last cattle to go out. It was April, well into April before they went out, and we would have cut out the meal there in February. And the silage they probably got from March onwards mightn't have been wonderful, so they were more or less probably in there eating and not putting on a whole lot of weight, but they seem to have compensated since. So the scales, as I said, never lies anyway, so we'll put them over the scales and see how they get on. Have you got his number?
No.
2883. What? Not doing anything wonderful there now. 0.6 of a kilo a day. I said 0.6 of a kilo a day. That dose won't do him any harm.
No.
3055. 3055. He's doing a little bit better, 0.8 a day. Have you got that? Three oh six five. 3065. Yeah. What was the last lot? 3055, was it? Yeah. Come on. Come on. Move. Actually, I have a tag for him I must put in. Must have been handy enough going out. He's gaining 1.1 a day. Oh, he was a lad that lost his mother there last year. Sure, he kind of wouldn't take to the bucket then either, wouldn't he? So he was. Just get a tag for him. $2,985. Yeah, 0.75 a day. $2,993. 0.6 a day again. No, 0.6 a day. Yeah. Get yours. I have another tag to put in here now as well. Good few of those dairy beef lads lost tags. They're a different tag supplier to what I use myself, so another cost on the system having to replace tags. Now I have the scoop thing gone off it there because it kind of interferes with the gate, so just easier to take it out of the way. I don't really use it that much anyway. So I've all those lads dosed and weighed. So the heaviest is 369, the lightest is 302. They're averaging just 400 kilos. So I would have liked them to be a little bit heavier, but as I said, they did go out late, and I probably having them on the best of a run. I probably maybe running them a bit tight the way I'm grazing them. I could do with another paddock for them and kind of move them on a bit quicker and a bit more lush grass. So I would say about the average daily gain on them is 0.6 or 0.7 kilos just from looking at them going over the scales. I have a target here kind of as a kilo a day for all the animals on the farm, dairy beef stock and suckler stock. You'd like the suckler stock obviously to be doing a little bit more, but to say between one thing and another, if they were doing a kilo a day, it's good weight. These guys now are obviously a little bit off it. Whether it's my management or genetics, I don't know, but they have got a worm dose and they are going to aftergrass, so hopefully that will give them a little kick along there. So when you set out targets for them, then if you were to say between now and the 1st of October, so you have all of July, August, September and half of June, so there's roughly there, we could say 120 days for when they'll be housed. So if you could get that weight gain up to a kilo a day between now and then, on the average, that should be bringing their weight from 400 on average up to 520, which you'd be fairly well on target, and then do another 100 kilos in shed over the finishing period. So you'd be knocking them out then at 620 kilos if they're able to get to that weight. Even a lot of those Anguses mightn't get to that weight because they just tend to stay small and they just beat you there with fat scores. But just hypothetically, theoretically, 620, half of that weight then is 310. So of a carcass weight then when they're killed. So it's easy to kind of work out then what it's kind of it'll take to get him there. Just mowing silage. The weather has picked up again this week. This meadow I probably would have liked to have cut it about a fortnight ago, but that's the way it goes. You have to wait for your weather windows. So it's a big scalpel field up there. It's a field I have taken for 2 cuts of silage. Cut it there every year. Fairly heavy stuff in it now. I've that field just done. I'm just doing the back swart on it. And this is the other field I have to do. There's probably about 2.5, 3 acres in it. So you can kind of see the kind of grass it is. Old grass, buttercups in it and meadow flowers and all the bits and pieces. If you look at my cows from any of the videos where I feature them in it, they're all fairly fleshy and they're easy fleshing cows. So in the winter time, it's a Weight Watchers plan I want for them. I don't want to put flesh on them. I want to take flesh down off them. So this stuff is perfect for them. Dry cow chow, as I call it there. And there'll be plenty of chewing on it, fill their bellies and keep them happy then for the winter time. Just after hitting an old bank, there was a big stone there. I must have been in closer than I was last year. I've never hit anything with the mower before. And as you can see, I have a bent blade. It's the first blade now I've had to change on the mower since I bought it. All the rest of them are still good along the way. They're all nice and straight and none of them are worn. These yokes are quick release blades. I've never used it actually before, so I should put away the camera. That's the blade taken out anyway. That's the new one. Could have been worse. Look, it didn't do any damage. I'll get that in and we get mowing again. I'm in the workshop. It's a week later. We got the silage baled up. What you would have seen me cutting there, the dry cow, chow as I was calling it. We got 91 bales there. And then I had a surplus paddock at home here that I got 18 bales on. So a nice day's work there, over 100 bales there again. You might see from the video there loading the bales that the rollers in my bale handler, one is up and one is down. And I must show you why that is now. So I got new bushings and tines for the bale handler. As you can see from this side, that bushing is completely worn out, and there's a savage amount of play on that there. This one over here, I actually got to replace the bushing in it, and that's why that tine now is nice and tight and the roller's running the way it should be. So I got new tines, but when I went to put the roller up on the tines, they actually don't fit. They're too thick up along there. They seem to be a heavy duty type of tine, whereas the tine that are in it are more of a lighter duty tine. So I'm going to have to see if I can bring those tines back and maybe get a lighter type of tine that'll fit down through the roller. I was just lucky that nut came off. I was thinking that I just plasma cut off that nut, but I tried it there with the gun and it actually came off on the other side. So I would have been in a bad way, because I went about replacing the bushing on the other side at 4 o'clock the evening before I went to go Bale, and I thought it'd be a handy enough job, cut here and a cut there and run around the plasma and bang it out, but it turned out to be anything but easy. And at 6:15, I only barely had it kind of finished, and I had to finish it the next morning. So it took me over 2.5 hours from start to finish. So that's why I got one done and I hadn't time to do the other one. So it's kind of a wet day now, and it's quieter this week. So I want to get in and get that bushing done while I can. At least now I know what I have to do, and it won't take me as long as it did with the last one. That roller is also, there's a bend in it out there, so I'm going to see if I can straighten that. This fella is also bent down there. I might have something with a loop like that on it. I'll cut that off and put something on it there as well. So that's the new bush to go in, and that's the yoke that came out of the other one. And I don't know, is it just a really heavy bush, or was it was there a sleeve welded into the box iron on the handler, and then that was put down through it like that and then welded, and then there was that plate welded up around it. So it was a dirty old job to get off. I'll have to cut off that first of all, get that out of my way. That's just for holding on the roller. And then, as you see, there was a plate welded all the way around and up there like that. So I'll have to cut that off as well. So I probably won't record much of this now, because it's, as I said, it took me 2.5 hours to do the other one. So I'll just maybe record bits and pieces of it there. So that came out an awful lot easier than I was expecting. I said I gave it a cut across there with plasma and around. And as I see, there was a fierce big bushing in that. Oh geez, that's hot. So as I said, the bushing I'm putting in is only half the size, so I have to put a sleeve in it. So anyway, that's it. A lot less huffing and puffing than I did the last day to get it out. So I'll have it done now in half the time. So I'll just show you now what I'm going to have to do here. So I have this piece of round, so that fits in nicely in there like that, and I just put my bushing into it and I'll weld it in, and that'll be the job. I won't be going looking for a different bush, and that'll do the same thing as what I want. I'm going to take that off the bale handler now and get it up on the table for the welding. Simple as that. Get it out. I'm just getting the sleeve that I'm going to put in there lined up. You can see it fits in nicely there to the slot there where the old bushing came out. So I'll get a few tacks on that, weld it into place, and then I'll put the bushing into it. This fella, put him down there and weld everything solid then. Now the first half of the bushing is welded in and welded onto the sleeve. The top half is done. I have to do down the sides. Better not touch that now, it's red. Do down the sides and turn it over and do the same again. A bit more welding done. She's completely welded in now, all down along the sides. You can see that she's in the inside in the round, welded into it. The bushing is welded in there. So if that is wrong, it'll have to stay wrong, because I'm not going to take it out again anyway, that's for sure. So that's not going anywhere. Just have to weld this strap of flash up over that then, like what was on the other one, and then that's finished. Just put that arm back on the handler there. Put the old tine back in it. As you can see, the old tine is kind of a lighter type of tine than the one as I bought, and I actually probably have enough thread to get that tightened again, so I mightn't bother replacing the tines. I'll see how they are. So I'll tighten up that. That's the plate put back around us now, so that's fully finished, and I wouldn't like to be trying to take it over again if it was wrong. So that roller is a small little bit bent, so I might see if I can do something there to try and straighten it a little bit, but if it runs okay on the tine, I won't bother doing anything with it. I'll leave it the way it is. So that's the bale handler finished. Job that was long overdue. I just want to keep it going anyway for as long as I can. It's probably an implement that I will maybe upgrade to something like an elephant trunk or something like that. Maybe if you have an elephant trunk and you're using it, or you're happy with it or not happy with it, maybe you put it in the comments down below on what make you have there. But look, I put a bit of new life into this handler there. I'll just show you there now the last few bits that I did on it there. So I have a complete new bushing in there. The tine is fully tight, and then I had to weld on that bracket there, put a bolt on it. I made a new washer for it. I just threw a bit of paint on it to make it look like I did something with it. I said to you that roller was bent. I think I got it fairly straight. Just cut it in a few places and welded it back together. I also had this piece was bent. Now I I knew I had that piece there in the farmyard, and what it was is off an old door over a milking parlour. It's actually heavier tubing than what's up there, and it's a little bit wider as well, so I think it will be a better job with more contact with the bale than the one that was up here. So that's it. The other thing I'd like to do with it is there's a small little bend in that rod on the ram, but I'd like to put in a heavier ram in there, a stronger ram that has a better squeeze when you put a bale on it. Just give it a little bit more power. So that's that job done anyway. 2 new bushings and a bit of an upgrade there for the bale handler. Look, sure, it was quite a week on the farm this week. Small little bit of stock work, and just important to try and keep on top of maintenance jobs and keep things working and moving kind of in the downtime. So I'm going to leave the video at that. I'd like to thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.